So I think a lot of times people don't realize how well we get to know our animals, how much we're working with them, how much like I really know all my cows, and if they're sick or if they're not right, like I can almost immediately pick up on that.
Hello and welcome to Illinois Corn TV. My name is John Hurst. I'm your host for today. Today I'm talking with Dakota Cowger, a dairy farmer and ag in the classroom coordinator from Peotone, Illinois. Dakota, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, it's great to be on today and get and have a little conversation.
Looking forward to it. Well, let's jump right in because I know you're in the middle of the school day. So first question I have for you, Dakota, is being a dairy farmer. But what is the biggest misconception that people might have about dairy farming that you think, and how do you try to address that, whether it's in the classroom or outside of the classroom?
That's a great question. I find there's a lot of misconceptions that I get asked a lot in school because I do my dairy chores before school every day and then come in. A lot of the kids know that that's what I'm doing every day. So um, I have a few kids that are always ready to ask me, like, "Hey, did you have any calves this morning?" or "How was the barn this morning?" Um, so I end up having to address a lot of misconceptions at school. And a lot of times, just in regular conversation with people, find out I'm a dairy farmer. For me, the biggest misconception um, is probably the like amount of time we work with the cows. I feel like everyone kind of thinks that dairy farmers um, like they know they milk the cows and whatnot, but they don't realize how much time we actually are putting in with the animals every day. Um, so sometimes it's really fun to have that conversation. Like, yep, we get to wake up every morning, we spend that time with them. Then we're usually cleaning and feeding and doing stuff throughout the day. Maybe get a little break and then go back into milking. It's such a hands-on farming ag or yeah, farming like sector compared to, like pork and beef and whatnot. So I think a lot of times people don't realize how well we get to know our animals, how much we're working with them, how much like I really know all my cows, and if they're sick or if they're not right, like I can almost immediately pick up on that.
That's awesome. That's great. It's a lot. It's a lot of work, a lot of hours every day. So what's one thing that you maybe wish consumers understood about the work that dairy farmers do every day?
I think it kind of ties in with that misconception. I think um, I just want consumers to know that we really care about our cows. They're kind of part of the family. They're part of the business. So it's important for us to keep them healthy. Important for us to work with them, treat them right, because they're where we make our money. And we spend so much time with them. It's not good for us to be mean to the cows or work with them just in a disingenuous way, because they're going to end up, um, you know, one, they're huge animals. They're going to be meat back to us. But then that also kind of affects our profit line too.
So if you could give you working in ag in the classroom, working with younger generations of kids who are interested in agriculture and interesting in farming of kind of all kinds, if you could give maybe one piece of advice to both, you know, farmers who are looking to get in to agriculture, and also educators trying to bring in the next generation of agriculture, what would that advice be?
I think for me, the biggest thing of advice is that you have to meet the next generation where they're at. You know, they care about things differently than my generation, older generations. Like everyone cares about something differently. And it's kind of one of those things where I think everyone has the same thoughts. Everyone wants this overall the same things. They want safe, abundant food supply from farms. They want to know like what they're eating and whatnot. It's just a different way that everyone views it and a different way that everyone wants to address it. So I think when you meet the younger generation where they're at, what their concerns are, you one get to know them a little bit better, and kind of how they view the world. But two, you can find where you're both wanting the same thing and you're able to address kind of what the problem might be or what the misconception might be, and be able to educate them and bring them up to date on what's going on farms.
That's really exciting. There's a lot of new exciting technology going on farms, and it's not your great grandfather's farm from 50, 60 years ago. There's lots of stuff that young people can get excited about in agriculture. So that's really exciting. So having worked with kind of kids and the next generation of ag, what are maybe do you have any standout moments or successes from one of your students that kind of gets you up in the morning and reaffirms what you do?
There's so many things that kind of get me to school every day. I work with some of the greatest students ever. They're like coworkers to me in a lot of ways. We work on a lot of like FFA projects together and whatnot. So really speaks to kind of the way both my students that I've had and what we've done as a program to grow. Working in the ag industry, food insecurity is so close to home because we're the people producing the food. So for producing enough food, how do we get it everywhere so we can address food insecurity, and help the farmer bottom line, right? So it was just cool to be able to kind of bridge that gap and see both of those things work together.
Totally. That sounds great. And that's a really important point. And food security is not just in some places, not just in big cities. We have it in communities all across the state. And the more we can
Yes.
connect with those communities, the better. Well, that's really great. Thank you so much, Dakota. I'm going to move on to our second section here. We're calling it "Not to Be Corny." So Dakota, we have a teacher themed joke for you here.
All right.
Why are you so great at teaching kids about farming? Be-
Why?
because you milk every lesson for all it's worth.
Okay. Maybe.
That's as good a result as we could hope for. Thank you so much, Dakota. Really, really appreciate all of your insights here, and thank you for the work that you do with the next generation of agriculture. We really appreciate all of this.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I enjoyed our little conversation.